Okay, welcome to the second podcast. Thank you for joining us. My name is Manpreet Singh Jussel. This is,
Tania Core-Jussel.
and today we're going to talk about boys, why Punjabis are obsessed with having boys, and also how guys and girls grow up and all the double standards that come with it. And we'll talk about our experiences and we'll talk about what we're seeing in the community. So thank you for joining us. All right, Tanya, how's it going?
It's good. It's good.
All right, so me and you, we have two kids, we have two girls, and we got married. We waited like 5, 6 years. We had kids, and I always wanted girls. Like I had nieces, and I'm like, my nieces are amazing and awesome. And I'm like, man, I just want girls too. Girls are the best. And now we have two girls, one, 5 and 3, and it's beautiful. But people have jabbed us and told us about where's the Munda, where's the Munda. How do you feel about that?
I didn't feel offended, but it's just funny. But I wasn't surprised at all by it because we grew up. I think we all grew up seeing the differences between girls and guys, and guys have certain freedoms and girls don't, and um, so it didn't come as a shock to me. But it was definitely something we had a good laugh afterwards. Every time we would talk about it, someone would say something to us. So yeah, I wasn't surprised, not surprised at all. But that's just the culture we live in. That's just how it is. People celebrate having mundas. Girls are celebrated too. I mean, in my family, in your family, like girls are celebrated and respected. But it's I you do notice when if you have a munda and everyone's waiting to see acha bacha hoya ki hoya munda hoya kudi hoya. If it's a munda, people are going to be celebrating more. I mean, that's going to be a big party, a big lordy for that munda for some reason.
But I'm glad to see that we had two girls, and we had Lodi parties for both of them. And I'm glad to actually see Punjabis have Lodi parties for girls. I'm like, thank God. And maybe it's this generation that's like, who cares?
Yeah.
And that's what boggles my mind. Like, we're in America, we're in New York, we're in Long Island, and people still worry about sometimes on, oh, you don't have a boy, oh, it's okay, girls are good too. And I'm like, I'm like, dude, I never even thought about that. Like, we don't have a farm where we need to have four boys that they're gonna go out and farm the land for us. And like, I don't understand this. Like, it's in America, everyone's the same, and especially in Sikhi, everybody is the same. So it's still like when aunties, it's mainly aunties. It's really not uncles, even though I've heard it from one or two uncles too. But it's mainly just aunties. They in passing say how a boy would be beneficial.
Yeah.
And I'm like, beneficial to who? Yeah. Who's it going to be beneficial to? Like, my girls are, amazing. So but it is fascinating that it's still in the culture and it's still in people in America. Like, I know if I was in Punjab, I was in the Pind, maybe this is the case, but we're not. Yet people still have this weird obsession with having a munda.
You can't take the pind out of people. You can take them out of the bin.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I mean, it's it's definitely like I guess a little when you've grown up here, you forget about those things until sometimes you have your own kids, and then you're reminded, like, oh, people do, they want that munda. They thoda cha hega ki munda ho jaye, and it's people have kind of said it indirectly too. Like when I was pregnant, we were expecting, and they didn't know whether it was going to be a girl or a boy. But when we did tell them, they would be happy. But then, thoda indirectly, they would say ki, "तो कोई नहीं मुंडा, next time मुंडा हो जाएगा," and just like we're happy. We need कोई नहीं.
And after the second one, I'm like, there is no third one. This is it. We got two. We're good. My car is full. We're okay. Yeah. I know. I remember. And the sicky part about it though is like I've actually had, an auntie, like an Amritari family, come up to me and say, "Oh, don't worry, main das karungi, thode bhi munda hove." And I'm like, "You're Amritari and you think like this?" My first thing is like wherever to see Amrit Chakya, make sure I never get Amrit from there because I do not want to think like this. Like, what is wrong? And these people have people in America that have kids that are older, that are educated, that grew up here. So it's still fascinating this whole boy thing. I mean, my parents allude to it sometimes, but now they know like, hey, this is it. Two girls.
Yeah, it's a lost cause. We ain't trying no more.
No, no, no. It's a lost cause. But it's one of those things that I think is always going to stick around. Maybe one more generation. I think one more Punjabi generation in America. Then after that, nobody's going to care unless you personally just wanted a boy. Like I had a girl. We had a girl, and then the next one. Okay, a boy, a girl, all good. I wanted a girl like first child. We got a girl, and then they're like. Then I was like, okay, let's have. When we had the second child, I don't care if it's a boy or girl. It's all good with me. And so, but it was cool. You have one of both. All right, cool. And you raise both kids and all that. But now we had the second girl, and I'm like, all right, great, awesome. Like, didn't even occur to me. I'm like, all right, cool.
I think it's more older generation, like you were saying, probably in the next generation or so, no one's going to care as much. But um, I mean, I like, again, I'm not offended. I'm not surprised by it. Like, it doesn't shock me when people say stuff like that. I don't know. Because I know, like, that's how our older parents' generation and their older generation, that's how they thought, like the Munda carried on the legacy. The Munda, he got your last name, so like he was the one, dirty sadi, reputation, leke jayega agge, and he's gonna like just carry on our name for whatever that name or reputation might be. I mean, lafanga hove, but it's like, sar munda hega. I think that was a big part of their thinking, and maybe ਉਦੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, like a couple of generations ago. So it was the boy probably who got the education, who got the business, or who got to carry that on. So that maybe was part of it.
I think it's a mix of all those things. It's a mix of everything that you're saying, but it's just like in 2025, me hearing it in 2025 in America is still just like, okay, like we need to talk about other things in life. And I always say, like I told this to, I don't know which uncle asked me or auntie said, and they're like, oh no, munda kar chachaida, this, that. And I was like, I told auntie, I'm like, look, meriyan kudiyan 100 munde de barabar hai. I don't need any mundas. I'm okay. You know, Never heard from them again, which is great.
Yeah, let me know when they call.
Yeah, but speaking about boys, I have two older sisters. I am the youngest, and I am the son. And so,
Oh man, the youngest Munda.
yes, I am spoiled.
That came with some perks.
There was a lot of freedom, which you alluded to earlier. There was a lot of freedom, and I think that is like a Punjabi double standard now. Of like the mundas, you have mundas and you have kudis, how they grow up, and how I grew up, and how the kudis grow up. You know, there's a lot of the munda could do whatever they want. The guys could do whatever. I don't even think. I honestly think though it's not even Punjabi culture. I think it's just culture in general. But because like guys could do a bunch of things, and if girls do it, they're like looked down upon in any culture. You know, but in Punjabi culture, if we just bring it to that, maybe Sikh culture too, it's more like the guy can be whatever they want, pursue whatever they want, go out, late night, drink, do all those things. And if the same thing a girl did it's like this girl is a lost cause. It is end of the world. She's never gonna get married. She's lost to us. Family the naam badnaam ho raha, like everything. Yeah.
I grew up very sheltered. My brother was a lot older than me, so he was like basically like another father to me. But I saw it with my friends too, and Whoever had, like, not even in our culture, even in like other cultures, like the Desi culture, basically. If you had a brother or older brother, like he was the authority. Like he got to do what he wanted, and um, the guys got to go out and drink and stay out late night and party, and then the girls kind of had to like tiptoe and not really show that, like, oh, they drink. You can't show that you party. You can't show that you have friends that are boys. Those are things like you had to kind of keep on the down low because then if your parents found out or like the community found out, it'd be like, oh, at the kuri, she's like the party girl, at the and he was like, what kind of girl is that? Like, it was so many questions on her character. But if a guy did that, "Chalo munde kar diya." Munde to karna hi hai. It was definitely double standard growing up. But I get it too. Like, girls, you want to protect them, especially when you have daughters. Like, I think about it now, and I'm just like, I don't want them wearing like little shirts and dressing like a little bit, not even provocative, but like I don't want them wearing like skirts or short shorts or little crop tops that girls wear all the time now. And I'd be uncomfortable. Like, I never wore stuff like that. Not even like tank tops, or even if I wore a dress, I'd like think 5 times before wearing a dress, to like a family function. So, but now I think about our daughters and it's like, that's, I don't want them to do that. So maybe that's because I grew up that way. But I think about it now and I'm like, I'm kind of happy I grew up that way because in some way it made me who I am today. Like, I'm not a big drinker. I'm not a big party girl. Like, and I like the way I dress. I don't think I dress like crazy, or and I never really did. And um, it kind of like curbed me from doing a lot of things that I saw other girls doing growing up. And I'm just like, oh wow, thank God I didn't really get into that. So I think about it. I think about it. I'm kind of like conflicted now that I have daughters.
Yeah, I don't think about them growing up at all. I think about them staying this age in elementary school and pre-K the whole life. I don't think about them growing up, or I know, but I don't think about them growing up in teenage years and all. I think if we do our job right, the chips are going to fall where they fall, honestly. But our job is just to raise them the right way, knowing their Sikh culture, knowing their Punjabi culture. And then they're going to do what they want to do, But I don't even think that far ahead. I think what's going to happen this week with them. I don't even want to think about their teenage years or anything like that. But yeah, I got away with murder. I did anything I wanted. I used to go out late, stay over my friend's house, do whatever. Our friends that are girls, like all that stuff has happened. And yeah, my sisters didn't get to do any of that.
Did they ever, like, were they upset by it growing up? Like, did they resent you for it?
I think they still resent me for it. I think they still, I think they still think about, like, look at me and be like, man, you got away with everything. We couldn't get away with anything. I think they still do it in a joking way, though, not nothing harmful, because I'm good with both of them. We're loving to each other, but it's just now that I think about it, yeah, like I got away with so much, and guys get away with so much. Uh, but that's just the, I don't know. That's just they're like the golden child, right? They're like, oh, you have a Munda and now there's Munda. They're like the golden child, especially if it's like the youngest in the family. If it's the youngest in the family, like let's say you have a couple of girls or whatever, or you have a couple of boys, and you get the youngest, and that's the boy. That's like the golden child of the family. That person can do no wrong.
How did that feel growing up? Tell me more.
No, no, no. I'm sure my parents think I did a lot of stuff wrong, but no, it's just that's just how the culture is, and it's like your. I think it ends with this generation, but in our parents' generation, like I'm their investment. The way they're raising me, the way they're putting me through school, the way they're, now I'm getting married with kids. Like I'm their investment, not just like monetarily, but just like spiritually, emotionally, and everything. Like, okay, we put so much, there's a lot of expectations for me. And I totally get that. And I think it's great. And I totally, now that I'm a father, I know what my parents went through and all that. So, but I think it kind of ends here in terms of like investment and having expectations of your kids. That's why it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl anymore, really. It's not like 50 years ago. It's like they're both the same. They're both going to have equal opportunities to get whatever they want in life. Uh, so hopefully Punjabis will stop doing that. I think they are in terms of like, celebrating goodies and Lodi parties and all that stuff, which is great. But I think the whole, wanting a Munda thing, I think it's going to die in this decade. I hope.
I think it also depends, like, how much you feel, um, how you think your life is going to pan out. Because our parents and their parents, they depended on the Munda to take care of them, right? Because the girl, when you got married, your wife moved in with you. And so your Munda was with you, and they would take care of you. But if you didn't have a Munda, like, then you would think, oh shit, who's gonna take care of us when we get older? So I think that was also the thinking, and that was kind of like somebody you depended on, that, whoever did dada way, our Munda, at least he's with us, he's gonna take care of us when we get older. But now, like you said, it's not as prominent, that thinking, with our generation and the generations after us, probably because women, girls have careers, they're just as involved a lot of times with their parents. They may not live with them, but they are very capable of, taking care of their parents just as much.
I think the girls are going to take care of the parents more than the boys. I think the boys are going to be off doing God knows what. I'm already seeing this in my family, like extended and whatever. And the girls are actually the ones that are going to take care of the elders.
Yeah,
Really
I mean, I've heard your mom say too कि कुड़ियां ते ज़्यादा करदियां मुंडियां नालों,
Yeah.
because girls will listen to you, they'll be emotional with you, they'll be there for you in times of need, like emotionally. Mundas are just more like, all right, are you good? Do you need anything? No? Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
Right, right. No, I think that's true. I think that's true. I think the tide is changing, but it's still out there. The whole Munda thing is still out there. So I hope all the Punjabis listening or non-Punjabis listening, like, it doesn't matter who you have, as long as your child, it's like the old, old adage, like, is your child happy, healthy? That's like the most you can get now. It's like, who cares if it's a boy or a girl? It's like, is child happy and the child healthy. That's both. Trust me, you're like the luckiest 1% in the world.
So one thing which I find interesting too, it's like, when you're looking for rishtas, or, guys are looking for girls and girls looking for guys, it's always funny. Like, if a girl has been, partying, and she's been known as kind of like a party girl, or if she drinks, or has been out with guys, that, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but guys kind of are put off by that, or do they think like, oh man, I don't know if I want to, want this girl for as a wife, or can I bring her home to my parents? She drinks, and she's like into partying, or she's all about that. But if a guy has been a party animal, and, is a drinker, and has kind of been around and all that, like, I don't I don't think that's as much of an issue. Yeah, well, girls probably think about it like, oh man, is he gonna be able to commit to me or whatever? But that's different. But I don't think girls look down on the reputation as much as if it was like a girl and a guy was thinking, oh, can she be my wife or whatever? I don't know.
I think
That's
that's.
that for me. I thought that was a big double standard that I.
I think it's still a big double standard. I think guys. I think guys look at. First of all, it depends. So if a guy's going out, let's just say the scenario, guys going out, girls going out, maybe he wants a girl that goes out and drinks and chills and does all that. Maybe they fall in love. Maybe they'll be like, okay, live happily ever after. Great. But there's a lot of guys, and I think that's a big problem. Maybe we'll talk about it some other podcast, but that's a big problem I see where guys can't find girls, but they don't want those girls. But they're going out too, and they're having a great time, but they see the girl having a good time too, and then they get insecure about themselves and what they experienced in life compared to what the girl experienced in life. And usually the girls experience more, but I've definitely seen that. I think a lot of people don't are not having relationships because of that. Uh, but that, I mean, it's something cool to ask that generation. But yes, there's a double standard, and I've seen guys saying that, like straight up said to me, like, "Nah, man, she's been around. Like, I ain't trying to, marry her." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's just one of those things, And yeah, you're right. The girl doesn't look down upon it as much as the guy does, and I think that's just the guy's own insecurity, which is always going to be there. I think it's always going to be there. I think that's everywhere. But you never know. Some people don't care, but most guys do care as much as I know. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's another topic for another day. But all right. Podcast number 2 down. All right. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.